Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday, and I don't know, that's about it, really. Had a great Thanksgiving. Saw Matt's family. Hung around with my family. Met a wonderful German lad named Lenny, who is roommates with my nephew in college. Very nice young man. We have German lineage in our family. My grandma was German on my father's side, and granddad was Native American and Irish. Looked Native American as Native American could be, and then granddad's father was. I found this out this weekend. To be honest, I guess it's really hard. Everybody that we could get any kind of information from has unfortunately died. So a long time ago. And Dad said that great-grandfather West was Cherokee. I always thought that they were Shawnee because the area that we live in was kind of Shawnee, and then Iroquois was to the north. But in the West Virginia and the mountains, there were a lot of Cherokee and the Appalachians down there. So learned possibly Cherokee. Pretty cool. I mean, it doesn't mean much, but you know, it's interesting to know where you come from. A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't know their background either because they've never looked or because it's been erased. You know, I wish I could find out more, but like I said, there's just nobody left to tell the stories. And that 23andMe or what is it, Forever 21 or whatever the hell they call that crap where you send off a blood sample, that stuff, it's weird. And I don't know if I would trust it because it's just, I don't know, it's just weird. I don't care about whether I am or not that much, you know, but still, I'd rather have it from, you know, my parents who know better and know the lineage than sending it off somewhere, you know, and not knowing exactly what you're going to get back or if you're going to get anything back or if your stuff's going to get hacked, because that happened to one of those at one point. They got hacked. Ugh. And a lot of their stuff got, a lot of information got stolen. So it's like, why would I want to bother with that? So you're probably wondering now why I took a sniff of this and went, ugh, and then decided to pour it anyway. Well, I've got something in this bowl that I'm going to try to liven it up with. I got 32 grams of this Crimson Cup in there. And boy, it just doesn't smell pleasant. It's really strange how unpleasant it seems to smell. It's very weird. And then all of the dust from the grinding process, it just appears that the grinding process is very varied. And you know, you get these small dust particles, and then you've got these larger pieces, and then you've got these really tiny pieces, and then but I got something in here. And we'll talk about it once we get to it. I've still got a little bit of time left with the water over here. But we had a wonderful time. Lenny said that the area that we live in, or my parents live in, reminds him of southern Germany where he's from. So, very nice young man. Very patient young man. So, I'll say that. But he seemed to have a really good time, and he seemed to be having a good time staying with my nephew and the family over there, so that's good. And he seems to be doing really well in college, and so is my nephew. So that's good. They seem to be having an okay time. They're learning a lot of different things about life, which, you know, finally. Okay, so I've got 32 grams in here. Probably try to do about 400 grams of water. I don't know how this is going to turn out. Like I said, it just doesn't smell great anymore. I mean, it smelled okay when I first opened it, but since it's been opened, it seems to have degraded a small percentage. And I don't know. Maybe I'm just. I think I'm just. Maybe I'm just too stuck up for some things. I don't know. It's not even that. It's just like, you're what you like. You like your taste. You like your smells. And I went to. It's not Crimson Cup. It's Crimson at Easton, and went there and got one of their coffees, and they've got their new winter flavors out. And there's this wonderful one where they steam chocolate milk and then put espresso and chocolate milk. That tastes great anyway, but I mentioned to the lady, you know, I like peppermint mochas, but this sounds really good. And she says, well, we can add like a little peppermint to it. And I'm like, that sounds amazing. And they did that, and it was really good. And then they had their chocolate, they had chocolate cherry scone, which was also really good. I do miss being able to go down to Crimson at lunch and getting a cup of coffee and a scone. I guess I could still do it, but that's a long drive. You know, it was a long drive. I mean, it's not. We would drive longer growing up to go to town, but still, you know, it's just to go get coffee. I mean, when we went to town, it was groceries and laundry, and yeah, it's laundry. That's a thing, isn't it? To have to go to town for. Even in the 90s, 80s and 90s, we our water was incredibly limited because we had a cistern, and so we collected rainwater, and there were times when we couldn't collect enough rainwater in the summer, so we were almost without water. There were summer weeks where my brother and I didn't take baths because it was just there was just no water. It wouldn't rain. So it was pretty dramatic. I mean, it's just a whole thing, you know, it's just a whole thing a lot of people don't think about because, you know, if you're on city water, that's great. You didn't really have to worry about that as much. You just had to worry about the bill every month. With us, you know, we had a cistern and it collected enough water, but it ran out really quickly in the summer. So the series of pipes that came off of the roof to channel every ounce of water off of it into that cistern was pretty dramatic. The Greeks couldn't come up with the architecture Dad used to get water down into that cistern. And then every off building had rain barrels to catch the rain. And when they overflowed, that was the biggest joy when it rained so much that they were overflowing. And then he'd use it to wash cars. And then the one behind the garage would always get full of big potato beetles, or I guess Japanese beetles, or they were big. They were like, I mean, they were about this big. They were huge. And you'd end up, when you were washing a car, you'd take it was a whole process. A lot of people probably can't even imagine. But you'd take the watering can, which you'd use for flowers, and you'd go down and you scoop out a full watering can of water. And then you get beetle on your hands, and then it'd be down in the water. And then you'd be, you know, cleaning off the car, the soap that you just did on the car with the water. And then the water would stop coming out because a beetle got stuck in. It did pretty good. I just don't know. It just doesn't, it's not the greatest smelling thing. It is not a joyful experience, which is unfortunate. It's really sad. And then it drew down really fast. It was about a 3.5 minute drawdown, which I guess isn't too awful. All right, so it's not. To me, this isn't great. It's just not. I mean, I hate being negative about things. I really do. It's just not fun to be negative. It's always more fun to find the positive in things, which is why last night we had, he pulled out the 2 pieces of pumpkin pie we had left, and he's like, do you want to make whipped cream? And I'm like, yeah. Well, I made the whole little pint of whipped cream. And we both laughed about it. He laughed harder because it was ridiculous. Because I just poured like some of it in, and then he's like, well, the beater's not even going to touch that. And then I just pour the rest of it in. He's like, well, that's a lot. And I'm like, yeah, it's a lot. Maybe it'll last for 1 or 2 cups of coffee. You know what I mean? So instead of sugar and cream, I'm going to add sugar and cream. And we're going to see what this does. This is heavy whipping cream. And when I blended it, I added 1.5 tablespoons of confectioner's sugar. And then it went on top of the pie. The pie was delicious regardless. But there's just something about freshly made whipped cream that just makes all of the difference. And we're going to melt this in here. So, I mean, yeah, it's a lot of whipped cream. It just was. But it was just funny. I mean, it was going to go bad anyway if I let it sit there any longer in the carton. So we're going to see if this works and if I need to add more. I got more foam than that. Okay. I don't hate it. I don't hate it as much. Boy. Yeah. I mean, it makes it creamier, of course. I mean, everything that whipped cream does, it's doing to this coffee. It's just that there's for a light roast, there's such a strange bitterness that the flavors that they introduced give the light roasted coffee. And to be honest, I don't get much of a buttery anything from this. It's just a almost bitter caramel flavor, and it's just not the greatest. But with the whipped cream added like that, I mean, you can just pour, you probably just get heavy whipping cream and just pour like a little bit of it in there if that's your thing. I do have a thing of half and half in there. That's just half and half. It's not flavored. I think it's sweetened, but it's not flavored. That might have helped, but I don't think so. I don't think there's much helping this. And that's very, very, very unfortunate. That's just too bad. Does it even say if it's just flavored ground fresh roast coffee? There's no way saying it's Kenyan or Arabica or anything like that. It's just this. It's unfortunate, but this isn't bad now. It's a little bit better now. I'd add more whipped cream, but I don't want to stick the spoon back in here because I don't want to mess up the whipped cream. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'm going to do a little video on some of my Christmas ornaments that I've bought through the years. This is the brand new one that came through. We're going to talk about this and a couple of other things probably coming up in the next couple of days. I have to record it. There's that to look forward to. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a great day, and we will come back tomorrow with something new and different, or something the same and the same. It could be either one. I'll still have whipped cream left, so whatever it is, I'll probably add whipped cream to it. We'll see you later. Bye.